Welcome back to Adaptivids, your hub for clear and practical cybersecurity education. The year 2023 was a turning point in the ongoing cyber war. Hackers became bolder, faster, and more sophisticated, targeting not just individuals, but entire corporations, government agencies, and even national infrastructure. Whether it's ransomware that brings a company to a halt or stealthy malware that quietly spies on sensitive data, cyberattacks are no longer rare occurrences. They're part of our everyday digital reality. But here's the good news. Every attack leaves behind a digital trail, a chance to learn, adapt, and protect ourselves better. In today's video, we'll examine the top 5 cyberattacks of 2023, breaking down what happened, how it happened, and most importantly, what we can learn from them to safeguard our future. Before we dive in, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Adaptivids for more cybersecurity insights. Let's begin with an introduction to a year of cybercrime that shook the world. The year 2023 marked yet another alarming rise in cyberattacks around the world. From government agencies and global corporations to small businesses and individuals, no one was spared. Cybercriminals have become smarter, faster, and more coordinated, launching attacks that not only steal data, but also disrupt economies and everyday life. With each incident, one thing becomes clear. Cyber threats are no longer a future concern, they're a present-day reality. But there's a silver lining. Every cyber attack offers us valuable insights. By analyzing how these breaches happened and what went wrong, we can better understand the tactics used by attackers, and more importantly, learn how to defend against them. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the top 5 most significant cyber attacks of 2023. We'll break down what happened, explore the techniques used by hackers, and share the key lessons every individual and organization should take away. Let's dive into the first major breach that had ripple effects across the globe, shaking trust in software supply chains. Number 1. The SolarWinds hack, supply chain compromise. The SolarWinds hack might have started in late 2020, but its consequences and investigations continued well into 2023, revealing just how deep and widespread its effects were. This was not a typical breach. Hackers, believed to be state-sponsored, managed to infect a software update for SolarWinds' Orion platform, a network management tool used by over 33,000 organizations worldwide. Once that malicious update was installed, attackers gained remote access to sensitive systems, including those of the United States Department of Homeland Security, Microsoft, and Fortune 500 companies. Even some organizations in India reported secondary impacts from compromised partners. Key tactics used: malware embedded in legitimate updates, use of stolen certificates to appear authentic, long-term stealthy access to internal systems. Lesson learned. The biggest takeaway from the SolarWinds attack is the importance of supply chain security. Organizations must treat third-party vendors with the same scrutiny as internal systems. Implementing zero-trust frameworks and verifying software integrity through secure updates is no longer optional, it's essential. Number 2. The Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack. One of the most talked-about cyber attacks of 2023 brought real-world consequences to millions of Americans. The Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack. Hackers from the group DarkSide infiltrated Colonial Pipeline's network using a single compromised password that lacked multi-factor authentication. Once inside, they deployed ransomware that encrypted vital systems, forcing the company to shut down fuel operations across the eastern United States. This led to long fuel lines, panic buying, and price spikes, all caused by a few lines of malicious code. The company ended up paying a $4.4 million ransom in Bitcoin to restore operations. Key tactics used: weak password exploitation, lack of two-factor authentication, disabling backups and restoring control via ransom. Lesson learned. This attack exposed serious gaps in critical infrastructure security. Protecting pipelines, power grids, and water systems now includes robust cyber defenses. Organizations should implement multi-factor authentication, segmented networks to isolate critical systems. These are no longer information technology decisions, they're national security priorities. Number 3, the Kaseya ransomware attack. Next on our list is the Kaseya ransomware attack, one of the largest and most disruptive supply chain ransomware attacks to date. Kaseya is a software company that provides remote monitoring and management tools to information technology providers. In 2023, hackers exploited a vulnerability in the Kaseya Virtual System Administrator software, allowing them to spread ransomware to over 1,500 businesses globally. What made this attack particularly devastating was its ripple effect. Instead of targeting just one organization, the hackers hit dozens of managed service providers, who then unknowingly delivered the ransomware to their clients. Key tactics used: zero-day vulnerability exploitation, automatic propagation of malware through trusted tools, ransomware as a service model used for broad deployment. Lesson learned: the Kaseya incident underscores the need for vulnerability management, especially in software that has deep administrative control. Companies must apply security patches immediately, perform penetration testing, use behavior-based detection rather than signature-based alone. For businesses in both India and the United States relying on managed service providers, due diligence in vendor selection and regular cybersecurity audits are a must. Number 4, the NotPetya attack, a global disruption. Let's revisit one of the most destructive cyber attacks in history, NotPetya. While the original attack occurred in 2017, variants of the malware resurfaced in 2023, continuing to affect unpatched systems globally. What made NotPetya particularly terrifying was that it masqueraded as ransomware, but was actually a wiper, designed to permanently destroy data. NotPetya hit shipping giant Maersk, pharmaceutical company Merck, and even systems in India, including offices and suppliers of multinational corporations. Key tactics used: exploited Eternal Blue vulnerability in outdated Windows systems, used stolen credentials to spread internally overwrote system files, rendering devices useless. Lesson learned: NotPetya teaches us two powerful lessons. Always keep systems patched and updated. Maintain secure offline backups and disaster recovery plans. No amount of firewalls can save your data if it's wiped clean and unrecoverable. Number 5, the MOVEit data breach, a global supply chain attack. One of the most significant cyber attacks of 2023 was the MOVEit data breach. MOVEit is a widely used file transfer software that helps organizations securely exchange sensitive data. In May 2023, hackers exploited a zero-day vulnerability in MOVEit's system, allowing them to break into networks and steal massive amounts of private data. The attack impacted hundreds of organizations worldwide, from United States government agencies and universities to private companies and even firms in India. Sensitive records like social security numbers, health data, and corporate files were stolen and later sold on the dark web. How the breach unfolded: hackers discovered a vulnerability in MOVEit's software. They used it to gain unauthorized access to databases. Large volumes of sensitive data were exfiltrated before the flaw was even patched. Tactics used by hackers: zero-day exploitation, SQL injection attacks, data exfiltration at scale. Critical lessons learned: the MOVEit breach highlights the danger of zero-day vulnerabilities, flaws unknown to software vendors and the public. To defend against them, organizations must deploy continuous vulnerability scanning, encrypt sensitive data both in transit and at rest, establish incident response plans to quickly mitigate damage when new vulnerabilities emerge. Staying secure in a changing threat landscape. As we've seen through these 5 major attacks, the threat landscape in 2023 was aggressive and complex, but also predictable in many ways. Each attack exposed common security lapses, outdated systems, weak passwords, unchecked software updates, and a lack of user awareness. But the good news? Every single one of these threats was preventable. Here's what you can do, whether you're a business owner, information technology admin, or just someone who wants to protect their personal data. Use strong, unique passwords and enable multi-factor authentication. Keep your devices and software fully updated. Back up your data regularly and test your recovery process. Invest in cybersecurity training for your team. Monitor for suspicious activity. Assume breach, detect fast. Cybercrime has no borders. Whether you're in Hyderabad or Houston, the same principles apply. Awareness, action, and adaptation are your best tools. If you learned something today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Adaptivids. Let us know in the comments, which attack surprised you the most, and what steps are you taking to improve your own cybersecurity. Stay informed, stay protected, and as always, stay one step ahead of the hackers.